Well, you guys asked for it. You want another rant? I'll give you another fucking rant. Gaming is dying. I might sound melodramatic saying this, but I really believe it, and I have believed it for a long time now. I used to love gaming. It's been a long time since I could really say that I love gaming. You know, I still love the medium to death, but the games themselves. I mean, do you really need to hear the same shit over and over again? About why gaming has gone to shit? Well, I'll give you a quick refresher why gaming is so shit these days, right? But first, see, be careful what you wish for if you want me to rant, okay? Because the first thing and the biggest reason that gaming has gone to shit is because of you. Yes, you. You know who you are. You fucking gamers who buy every goddamn Sony exclusive just because it's a Sony exclusive. The fuckers who buy every Call of Duty game, every fucking Assassin's Creed game, Far Cry, whatever. These copy-paste, half-ass games. These casuals, man. And look, none of them are gonna watch this video anyway, so it doesn't really even fucking matter. But if you do see it, just know you're fucking killing this industry. This is your fault. Every time you buy one of those games, every time you buy a microtransaction, loot box, fucking Fortnite skin, doesn't matter what it is, you are contributing slowly to the death of this industry. And again, you know, if you think this is all exaggeration, hyperbole, it's fucking not. All you have to do is go back 15 years and see how things used to be different. Those of us who grew up in the PS1, PS2 era, even before that, you know, Super Nintendo, all that shit, we had it great, okay? Things were just perfect. There were amazing games coming out yearly, on every platform, pretty much. I mean, Jesus, man, like, there's so many greatest games ever made, you know, less than 20 years ago. So this decline is a recent fucking thing, you know? Fucking, man, you know, we had games like fucking Metal Gear Solid, pretty much 1, 2, 3, and arguably 4 are all fucking amazing games, okay? Fucking Half-Life, Half-Life 2, Metroid Prime. I mean, this is me bringing in my bias here, but I would put Ratchet and Clank, Going Commando, and Up Your Arsenal, and fucking Jak 3 in that list, personally. But, you know, obviously, Super Mario 64, Banjo-Kazooie, Super Mario Sunshine. I know a lot of people have problems with that game, but I fucking love Sunshine. God, all we have to do, even, like, fuck, man, you don't even have to really go back 10 years. I mean, fucking Dark Souls was 9 years ago. Dark Souls was the last time I played a game that truly surprised me, that truly felt like a new experience. And there's nothing wrong with making something that is derivative, you know, like some of the greatest games ever made are just, you know, iterations on a known concept with their own twist, right? Like Dead Space 1 and 2, both amazing games, are basically just tweaks of Resident Evil 4, which, as you know, I think Resident Evil 4 is one of the greatest games ever made. And the Dead Space games are awesome too, you know? So, back to gamers. So you assholes, first, let's just start off with, yeah, we'll start off with the casuals, because you guys fucking suck the most, because you don't give a shit. That's the truth. The death of gaming is by apathy. By apathy, and people just fucking throwing their fucking $60 in the trash, because they don't know any better, and they refuse to learn. It's willful ignorance. That's what it is. It's willful ignorance. You can't argue that this is like, oh, you know, they don't know any better. Really, fuckface? You can learn at any time, okay? So these are, yeah, again, these are the guys supporting EA, Activision, Ubisoft, Take-Two, all these fucks who just, they exist to rip you off and make these half-ass games. Like, look, I don't want to sound pretentious, but really, like, at that point, is it really even art? Maybe technically, but like, they don't try, man. Far Cry 3 was a fucking awesome game, right? Came out 8 years ago, I think now. And it only took them about 3 years to drive it into the garbage. Like, just completely in the trash. And it's because you fucks kept buying the shit, even though it was the same shit every time. Like, why, man? Why? There's so many games. There's thousands of fucking games, okay? And I'll tell you why. Here's the main problem with the casuals is their obsession with graphics. Period. That is the #1 problem. Graphics do not fucking matter. Graphics don't make a game fun. Visuals, I mean, you know, a good aesthetic design is pretty important, I would say, but ultimately, it's just a background. You know, it's literally just a framework for the gameplay. You know, the fun part, the part you buy a game. So every Far Cry game is literally just the same fucking game, but in a different background. Same with the fucking Assassin's Creed games, you know? And like, Assassin's Creed Origin and Odyssey, they tried something different. I'll applaud them for that, but God, it sucks though. It fucking sucks. I don't understand why people like Assassin's Creed Odyssey. All the quests are copy-paste garbage. Like, the romance is a fucking joke. Fucking, oh man, the combat is so repetitive. Like, those mercenary dudes, if they're even like 2 or 3 levels above you, it takes literally like 2 or 3 straight minutes of hitting them for them to die. And it's like, it's not a proper boss fight, it's just a dude with a giant health bar and like 1 or 2 unique moves. That's about it. And you have to do that a million fucking times. It's like, oh god, man. What happened is that the fucking the publishers won. Their ultimate scheme was to make so many shit games that it would lower your standards, and they knew you gamers are addicts, and you would buy the shit anyway, because you can't be fucking bothered to go play some old games. Like, that's all it is at the end of the day. That's why I started this channel, was I just wanted to talk about old games that I thought people should play, right? That was it. That's literally why my old video titles are why you should play, you know, even if nobody clicks on that and nobody cares, because people don't want to hear game suggestions, right? The gaming audience is pretty much just divided into 2 categories. People who want to hear somebody complain, which I guess is what I'm doing right now, and then people who just want to hear, you know, someone jerking off and like getting hyped about whatever the new big thing is that's gonna fucking disappoint everybody. You know? That's all it is. That's all gaming has become at this point. You know? And there's a third option, okay? Arguably a fourth option, too. You either go back and play old games, or you play indie games. Those are the 2 options, right? You know, I'm not a huge fan of the indie genre, mainly just because of the type of games. Like, the type of game genres that they develop, I'm just not interested in anymore. Like 2D platformers, and I don't know, I'm not a huge fan of like isometric RPGs or puzzle games or, you know, things like that. There are certain games. Binding of Isaac, I do love Binding of Isaac. Like, that's a fucking awesome game. A Hat in Time, I mean, because you guys know I love 3D platformers. Obviously, Hat in Time's awesome. So, but the point is like, it's not exactly my thing. So, of course, I go for the other option, and I play old games I've never played, because there's fucking hundreds, thousands of games I never had an opportunity to play, because you can't possibly play them all, and there's so many good ones, and I don't give a shit about realistic graphics, because why would you? Why do you care? I mean, really? Really? That's all this. Literally inflated development times, inflated, like, studio sizes, budgets. All this shit is not worth it to make something look 10% more photorealistic, you know? Like, just, listen, Sony studio disappointment aside, let's just look at, like, how many exclusives came out for the PS3 versus the PS4, right? There was easily, like, twice as many fucking exclusives for the PS3. You wanna know why? Because they actually had time to make multiple games in the same franchise, which used to be a thing, like, all the time. Like, especially in the PS2 days. Like, 4 Ratchet and Clank games released in the PS2 era. 4. This gen, we've had 1. And it's a shitty fucking remake. Like, a really shitty remake. Again, maybe I'll talk about that someday. But the same thing goes for, like, God of War. Like, yeah, technically, only 2 God of Wars came out in the PS2 era, and 2 came out in the PS3 era. But I guarantee you, if God of War 1 had come out earlier, there would have been, like, 3 or 4 in the PS2 gen. Because I think God of War 1 came out in, like, 2004, 2005. So it was already most of the way through that gen. Now, this gen, what do we get? 1 God of War game. And yeah, it's a good game. It's a great game. I really enjoyed the game. But it has the same fucking problem that most of these Sony games have. Too many fucking cutscenes. The pacing is too slow. Sorry, this is not a fucking movie. It's a video game. Okay? I want to kill things. I want to have fun combat, good progression, all that shit. And it was there, but it was stuck in between, like, literally hours of cutscenes. You are not Hideo Kojima. You're not Sony Studios, okay? And even Kojima has his limits. I was fucking bored to tears at times in Metal Gear Solid 4. Because that game had more cutscenes than gameplay. And every Sony studio thinks that's what they need to be now. It's like, really? Fuck off. Okay? Ghost of Tsushima. Let's talk about that for a second, because you guys don't like that video, apparently. That game's not that good. Fuck off, assholes, alright? I'd say it's a solid 8 out of 10, right? Which is good. That's a good score, man, right? I don't put scores in my videos, but if I were to give it a score, 8 out of 10, right? But for you people to be like, no, it's a masterpiece. How dare you try to find flaws with this game? It's like, every game has fucking flaws, you okay? So, I'm not, like, purposely trying to find flaws with it. Those are real problems I had. Because the open world genre is stale as fuck. Okay? Do you even understand how many open world games came out this gen? I mean, just this gen. And last gen, a bunch came out too. But seriously, like, AAA open world games, there's gotta be, like, 30 or more AAA. Like, fuck, man. The open world genre fucking sucks. Okay? It just ruins good games. Imagine if Ghost of Tsushima was, like, either linear or, like, a semi-linear with, like, mini sandboxes or something. Like, let's say the open world was about a quarter of the size that it is now. It would be so much better. It would be so much more dense. So, not even nearly as repetitive. You know, and Infamous 2's open world is not that big. And it shouldn't be. I mean, why would you, especially in a game where you travel on horseback, it's gonna take a fucking year to cross the map. And that's not a good thing. It's not a good thing. Do you know there's people who think, like, Fallout 3 is, like, this super massive world, right? I've heard people compare the size of Fallout 3 to, like, modern games. It's like, dude, Fallout 3's world is, like, small. It felt big because it was dense, which is why it's a good open world. That's how you make a good fucking open world, is make it dense, make it interesting. I'm not going to talk about Witcher 3 and Breath of the Wild that, like, for a long time, but let's just talk about briefly, like, what separates them and what makes them stand above the rest. Okay, Witcher 3 had amazing quest design. Almost every single quest was interesting in some way, right? That's pretty much its claim to fame. Great story, great quests. Combat sucked, which is why I think the game is slightly overrated, because I don't want to sound like a fanboy here, but in a post, like, Souls game world, a bunch of Souls games of that, and you don't even have to say Souls games, you could say, like, even, like, Platinum games, like Bayonetta, Metal Gear Rising, that sort of thing. You need to head in one of those directions. You can't have mediocre combat. And, fuck, Witcher 3's combat was definitely mediocre. But anyway, then we have Breath of the Wild. What does Breath of the Wild have? Despite having a really big open world, it was a very unique open world. Like, every area of that game is memorable in some way. And that, I mean, I know that's really out of reach for most developers. Like, Nintendo clearly put a fuck ton of resources into that game. That's what you need to shoot for. If you want to make a big world, it better be fucking memorable, alright? And unique in some way, mechanically at least. Like, remember when you go to Death Mountain, and like, they have the heat mechanic, and you'll overheat and lose health over time? Like, that made that section of the world feel unique. And there's all sorts of things like that in Breath of the Wild, you know? Fuck, man. Like, you can't. It's so lazy. Stop supporting developer laziness. Back to the main point. This is your guys' fucking fault, alright? You can blame EA, Activision, Ubisoft all you want. That's not going to change the fact that these shitty games wouldn't exist if you didn't buy them. You buy them because you're addicts, or you don't know any better, or you're just like so fucking obsessed with the idea that a game has to be current. Or you have to like get on board the hype train to even be interested in playing a game. It's like, what the hell's wrong with you? Do you think the hype train existed in like the late 90s, early 2000s? Yeah, I mean, I guess you could buy like a magazine. Like, you could read Nintendo Power or like fucking Game Informer or, you know, I don't know, one of those magazines. And be like, oh wow, that looks exciting. But we didn't have what we have now. Jesus Christ, people. Just play the game because it looks interesting. Who cares if everyone's talking about it? You know? Why does that matter? This console generation has so many disappointments. So many fucking disappointments. This is the worst console generation by far. Okay? I will debate anybody on that shit. Like, here's just like this might as well be a short list because I know I'm forgetting some. Here's just some disappointments from this console gen, just this gen. Metal Gear Solid 5, Fallout 4, Batman Arkham Knight, Yooka-Laylee, Middle-earth Shadow of War, Mighty No. 9, No Man's Sky, Dishonored Death of the Outsider, Deus Ex Mankind Divided, The Last of Us Part 2, which, you know, I did 2 fucking videos on, Resident Evil 3 Remake, which I also did a video on, Mass Effect Andromeda, Outlast 2, Red Dead Redemption 2, Super Mario Odyssey. I know people are going to be pissed about those last 2, but fuck, dude. Red Dead Redemption is slow as shit. Everything in that game is so slow. I was just bored out of my mind, man. Like, if you like it, that's fine. It's very well made graphically, and I don't know. I'm sure it has a good story. I only played about 10 hours. That was all I could stand. And then Super Mario Odyssey is a fucking baby game, dude. God, it's so easy. It is so easy. There's no challenge. Games need challenge. Even a small degree of challenge. I just, in my Spyro video, which you guys didn't fucking watch, some of you, you know, I know some of you watched it. Those of you who commented, you know, love you guys. But everyone else, you didn't fucking care because as I've said before, you don't want to hear game recommendations. You just want to hear someone shit on something or somebody hype something up coming out new. You don't want to like actually hear about some game you never played that is actually good and you probably actually have fun with instead of stupid bullshit. In the Spyro video, you know, I talked about everything that a 3D platformer needs, right? And I said a bit of challenge. That was like the 4th thing, the last thing. And it's like, this game, like, Odyssey has nothing. It has fucking, like, yeah, it has, like, the moon or whatever. It's supposed to be the challenge part, right? Dude, they've been doing this since Super Mario 3D Land, where it's like, oh, we'll just make the last level the hard level. It's like, okay, so 99% of the game is boring and repetitive, and 1% of it is good. Fuck you. Fuck you, dude. Really? The game sucks, okay? Like, Joseph Anderson broke it down. You know, you can watch his video. I don't give a shit. But, okay, so we've broken down casuals and Sony fanboys, right? So, their problems, right? Next, we have Nintendo fanboys. You motherfuckers have no standards. Period. Period. Literally, you're just chasing nostalgia. That's it. And you're pathetically loyal to a fucking billion-dollar corporation. This is literally just like Reddit soy boy shit. Like 100%. That's all this is. It's just like their loyalty to Disney. They also have loyalty to Nintendo. Just because, and look, I don't want to get into the man-child shit, because I like kids games. You know, I like games made for all ages, or whatever you want to call it. You know, I like 3D platformers. That's not my problem. My problem is Nintendo is a shadow of its former self. Like, they barely even develop games anymore, man. They used to develop a lot more games, especially look in the GameCube era. And that was the era they were struggling, like, a lot. Not quite as much as the Wii U, but that was like their second worst performing console. And I love the GameCube, man. And apparently not many of my fans do, because none of you guys voted for the GameCube game that I was gonna do, which is one of the greatest games ever made. But, dude, what does the Switch have, man? It has Breath of the Wild, which, yeah, that's a really good game. It's also on Wii U, but none of you guys have a Wii U, so I guess it doesn't matter. It has Odyssey. If your standards have really lowered to that point, your desperation is that insane that you'll buy a console over the worst 3D Mario game. I don't know. It has Smash. Wow. Woo! It has Smash. You know, I used to really love Smash. Those days are long gone. Those are really the three. That's it. I mean, I guess, what, you gonna buy a console over Luigi's Mansion 3? Like, Luigi's Mansion 1 was a great game, a real surprise. But, I don't know. Like, the sequels just kind of look like ass to me. And more shitty Paper Mario games. The worst Pokemon game, which of course I talked about already in my last rant. And yeah, people are like, buy the Switch in masses. Why? Just because they like the idea of a portable console. I don't know, it sounds like a good idea, and I guess some people that really is useful to them. But you gotta fucking have games, dude. What do you buy on Switch other than those three main games? Like shitty ports of games that have been on PS4 and Xbox One for like a year or more already. That's pretty much what you're getting, you know? Like, I remember when people were excited about Doom 2016 on Switch. It's like, do you really not own anything else? Like any other console? It's like, you're the part of the problem then. Like, this is part of the casual shit that I'm talking about. It's like, you don't even buy 90% of games that release that are, you know, good games. Like, legitimately good games. Because they're not on Nintendo. You know? Like, I'll grant you this, that the Switch has gotten a lot of ports. So, you can get a decent amount of third-party games, at least compared to the Wii and the Wii U, right? But it's still not even close. It's not even close, man. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore at this point. The point is that fucking Nintendo fanboys, you guys gotta let go of the past, dude. All you're doing is clinging on to nostalgia. I get it. Just play the old games, dude. That's what I do. Whenever I want to play, like, a Nintendo game, I'm just like, I'm gonna play a good one, you know? And you don't have to, like, go super far back. Like, Super Mario Galaxy 2 was, what, 10 years ago? And maybe that sounds like a long time to some of you, but to me, like, you know, those were some of the best years of gaming for me, so it doesn't really matter that it was 10 years ago. Like, why does that matter? I'm seriously like a crotchety old man just screaming at the sky at this point. Fuck, and I'm not even old. Like, I'm not even close to old, people. There's so many, most, like, gaming personalities are older than me. What are we gonna remember this generation of gaming for? We're gonna remember it for shitty Battle Royale games, of which there were fucking 100 of them. There's two system seller class Sony exclusives, because I'm only, you know, in my mind, there's really only two that were good enough, which is Bloodborne, you know, of course I was gonna say Bloodborne, and God of War. That's it. Like, Spider-Man is kind of close third, I guess. Then Ghost of Tsushima, then Horizon Zero Dawn, and then I don't give a fuck about any of the other ones. Really, I don't. Last of Us Part 2 was a goddamn disaster, and Uncharted 4 was just more of the same, really. Too much story. Like, and I know, for Uncharted having too much story, that sounds kind of dumb, but really that's how I felt, you know? So, let's get to so Xbox fanboys, I'm not gonna rip on you too hard because you guys have had it rough. You already know, because there's so few of you left, really, at this point. You know it's been shit. You know the Xbox One has been shit. So, you know, I'll go easy on you guys. Because you know Halo 5 was a piece of shit. You know, fuck, what was that? They made like that TV show game thing that some of you guys were hyped about. I can't even remember what it was called. But it was ass. That was complete ass. From what I saw. Master Chief Collection, god, what a disaster. Even on PC, it still is not the best experience. I don't know, Gears of War 4 and 5, they looked okay, I guess. Fuck, yeah, Sunset Overdrive, that was a legitimately good game none of you bought. Good job. Good fucking job, guys. Everything else was shit, pretty much. I mean, Halo Infinite's gonna be shit. Good luck with that. There's another disappointment to add to the list. Halo Infinite, yep. I guarantee it's gonna suck. I mean, I hope I'm wrong. Because why would I want a game to suck, right? But it's gonna suck. Don't get your hopes up. 343, they're just... They're the worst, man. They're supposed to be Halo fans. They're not fucking fans, dude. They're like those fanfiction writers who want to have all their self-insert characters, you know? Those aren't real fucking fans. Like, they don't understand what made Halo good. Just look at, like, hey, I know people liked Halo 4's story, but that was the writing on the wall, dude. That was not Halo. The art style alone showed they weren't fucking fans, if you ask me. But that's about it, you know. I wish you guys luck. Really, if you were smart, you would abandon Xbox completely and go to PC, because there's barely a difference at this point. But, you know, I can't blame you for sticking with the console for the convenience, I guess. PC Master Race, well, I'm a new member of you guys, and yeah, I don't know. You guys have your heads up your ass, I'm gonna be honest, but I have had a good time on PC so far, that's for sure, but yeah, I don't know, your exclusives are pretty overrated, gotta say. Partially because I'm not so interested in RTSs, MOBAs, indie games, you know? Like, I want the big budget shit. You know, like, because Valve doesn't really make games anymore and Blizzard doesn't make good games anymore, that kind of really knocks your exclusives down a peg, I think. But now that you have Microsoft exclusives, that does kind of even it out a little bit. So now we get to, and you know, of course we have the fucking SJW infiltration of this industry. These people are the real problem. See, not because they buy the games, because they don't. They don't buy the fucking games. No, they're the problem because they've literally infiltrated the industry itself, as in they work for the game companies. They are part of the development team. Like, did you see that picture recently of 343's development team, dude? Like, are you fucking kidding me? And there were, I think Naughty Dog did a similar one too at some point, where it's like they gotta put all these women on the forefront or whatever. It's like, do you really think that makes games better? Just being like, look at all these women we have. Oh my god, what a joke, dude. Every HR department ever is controlled by a feminist. Fucking, oh my god, like, it's just a joke, dude. It's a bunch of angry people on Twitter that somehow managed to control corporations. Can someone explain that to me? How, like, a bunch of nobodies, some maniacs, like, claim that, like, a game company is full of Nazis and all of a sudden they bend the knee? Really? That doesn't fucking affect sales, dude. It doesn't. If anything, it's the opposite. Look at what happened to Battlefield 5. You know? The problem is then you get games like The Last of Us Part 2 that prove that people are fucking morons, right? That they didn't look at reviews. Well, maybe they did look at the mainstream reviews and actually take Metacritic seriously. You're a moron if you take Metacritic seriously, first of all. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Have you been to a game journalist site in the past 10 years? They're all a joke. The only one I think I visit is One Angry Gamer. That's literally the only one that I think is kind of okay. But, I don't know. Even they focus too much on politics. I just want to hear about games, you know? But they're all shit, dude. They're all shit. And the thing is, too, here's the problem. There are popular people who have helped destroy the industry. No matter what you fucking believe and what they believe, I don't give a shit. I'm calling out Jim Sterling specifically, because really he's the first one I think of. Whereas, yeah, okay, he'll say Ubisoft made another shitty game. That's great and all. But you're fucking friends with Anita Sarkeesian. You know, I guarantee you he... Actually, I think he made a video on The Last of Us Part 2 where he said, like, oh, you know, it doesn't even... All this SJW shit doesn't matter. It's not important. The story's bad anyway. Yeah, you're right. The story is bad. But you're just gonna pretend all this diversity shit doesn't matter. Like, it's not part of an agenda. You know, a certain agenda to push a certain political party. You know, nah, yeah, that has nothing to do with anything, I'm sure. It's not social engineering. It's not... Fuck, I don't even... Fuck off, dude. He's just a stupid fat fuck. I don't give a shit what he says. Okay? I don't care. I don't even understand how so many people can even take him seriously. And then we have other YouTubers, too. We're fucking... Okay, listen, this is another one. And I actually like this guy. So I don't want to... You know, I don't want to cause drama with this. Because, seriously, dude... I'll just let it out. ActMan, you're destroying your fucking channel, dude. And I don't mean literally, because obviously you're still getting the views. So, you know, keep doing what you're doing. If your goal is to make money and just have no dignity and fucking... Okay, I know. I'm being melodramatic. I really don't want to be this mean because, again, I like this guy. I used to watch, like, almost all of his videos, especially when he was mostly making Halo videos. But ever since he started doing fucking Call of Duty videos, like, what the fuck, man? Talk about catering to the lowest common denominator. And, you know, maybe it's a case of he really hasn't played that many games. And if that's the case, ActMan, you gotta play more fucking games, dude. I know shooters are clearly your favorite genre, and that's fine. It's one of my favorites. Not quite my favorite, but I play a lot of them too. But, dude, broaden your horizons a little bit, man. Like, again, if you're in this just for the views, continue to make your shitty Call of Duty videos every month, whatever. That's fine. But fuck, man. Like, literally, you're just making this to cater to, like, the 14-year-olds. Like, literally, that's what your channel has become, is it's like, what games do people play the most? Like, all you're missing, you need to start making videos on Far Cry, you know, Assassin's Creed, whatever, all that shit. And then it'll be perfect. You'll be the perfect casual gaming channel. Because that's really what it is, man. I know I don't have any views. You know, maybe that's part of my problem, right? I mean, well, part of my problem is I don't show my face and I don't put on a voice. You know, maybe that's the key to be successful. I'd be like, hey, everybody, SyntheticMan, yeah. Fuck, what is that thing he always says in all his videos? It's like, let's get straight into this. You know, it's like, dude, fuck, man. Maybe that's a real voice. I don't want to insult voices because I don't have the best voice in the world. I really don't. Because I probably sound like I'm 16 and I'm almost 25, so fuck. Fuck. So, I don't know, it sounds like he's putting on a voice, though. But regardless, you know, clearly he's doing a persona, and I'm just me. Trust me, this is raw, unfiltered me right here. And maybe you guys think my reviews are boring. Like, I really would like some feedback, legitimately. If you made it this far in the video, you might not be the audience that I want feedback from because you guys actually watch my videos, if you've listened to this long. But I can fucking tell you, I'm never gonna be doing videos, like, fuck, if I ever do a video on, like, Far Cry 6, and I say, and I actually think, wow, this is actually a great game, guys, oh my god, play this, fuck, dude, unsubscribe immediately if I ever do that, because, fuck, it's over at that point, it's fucking over, dude. I sold out. That's how you know I've sold out, is if I'm like, yeah, Far Cry, awesome game, guys, you need to buy this. It's just like, fuck. No. God damn it. I know, yeah, fuck. Listen, I know my reviews aren't, like, funny. And these rant videos are funny because I sound like a lunatic. Like a crazy raving old man. But, dude, I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel like they're almost not supposed to be funny. Like, I never wanted to be, like, a John Tron type of guy. I legitimately wanted to recommend games to you guys. And, like, if it just becomes about me trying to be funny, then it's not about the game anymore. I legitimately want you guys to play the games I review, you know? I do. So, I don't know. Maybe there's a compromise in there somewhere. But legitimately, I do want feedback, for real. And not feedback like the Ghost of Tsushima feedback. That wasn't fucking feedback. It was legitimately like, you just didn't like my opinion. That was the feedback. Fuck off. Alright. Okay, well, I'm trailing off. I'm not saying anything interesting anymore, so I think I'll just end this here. This might become a series talking about the death of gaming, even though this was just fucking nonsense. Like, there's very little structure. That's what I was saying. I have bullet points in front of me. I didn't even stick to have them. I was trying, but this is just how my mind works. This is how my mind works, dude. If I ever get dementia, I will not hold it together, or Alzheimer's. I'm gonna fucking just tell like 5 different stories at the same time to my grandchildren. Fuck, I'm not gonna make any sense. But yeah, dude, I don't know. I love games. That's basically all I'm saying. And I don't know. I'm sad that the industry sucks now. For that one guy who requested the SpongeBob review, yeah, I think I will do that actually, because it's not gonna be that much work. It's gonna, like I said, it'll be a shorter video. Because honestly, I don't have that much to say. But because it's a good game. Like, you know, if you get anything from it, just know that it's a good 3D platformer. It's not the best, but it is worth your money if you like the genre. And if you ever played the original, it's a good remake. It's very faithful. More faithful than the vast majority of remakes. That's about it though. That's like the short version of what the review's gonna be. Yeah, this will be a series. It's not gonna be a weekly thing. But you know, if you guys want to hear me rant, I can do that for you. See you next time.